What's up, YouTube? Today, if you're a business owner and you need to do or make a price increase, or you're not making enough margin and you're worried about a price increase, how to implement it, will you lose customers? That's what today's video is going to be about. We're going to talk about that tough decision, usually filled with anxiety and some gut-wrenching decisions on increasing prices. Because if you don't have margin, you don't have a business. Before we get into this story, I actually just talked to an entrepreneur, so I'm going to share that story. Before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, my name is Luke Peters. I started a company about 25 years ago, out of a garage, no funding. Was very fortunate to grow that company over those 25 years and was able to exit a couple of years ago in a mid 8-figure exit. And I learned a lot in that process. And right now I help entrepreneurs plan for their exits, improve their businesses, improve their margins, any CEO strategy that's needed along the way, and then hopefully aim for the exit. And I do that over at Apex CEO. So on to today's story. Right behind me is the Huntington Beach Pier. There's a great event over there. It's one of the biggest fitness events in, I guess, on the West Coast, or for sure in California. And I was just getting a cup of coffee and ran into a gentleman and started speaking to him about his company. And he's a coffee roaster, but he actually is vertically integrated. He's sourcing the beans, roasting the beans, creating his own brand of coffee, his own flavor, but also white labeling and selling his beans to other customers. So really smart guy, small business, but sounds like he's got some good traction, and he's all the way out from the East Coast promoting his brand and his coffee. And he told me that he had to push a price increase in, and it was a significant price increase on the neighborhood of a quarter, 25% to 30% increase, because he had not done it in the last 3 years. Obviously you have the supply chain, you have labor constraints, and a lot of commodities are increasing in price. And he was really worried about it. And the point of the story is he was basically apologizing, in a way, not apologizing, but he felt like he had to apologize to his customers. I wasn't telling him what to do. I was just listening to a story because I just met him. But I said, listen, never apologize for a price increase. If you don't have margin, you can't run a business. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Obviously, you don't want to take advantage of customers. You need them to come back. This is a long-term relationship that you're building with your customers. But if you don't have margin, you're not going to have a long-term relationship with your customers. So there's a balance. There's a balance between delivering the best product, but also at a price that's acceptable to your customers, and also that works in the competitive nature of the industry that you're in. That kind of brought me back to thinking about after the tariffs were put in. And in my company, we had to push a price increase through. And it was such a tough decision because I'm very fortunate in this at this time that I had incredible sales leadership. The team that ran my sales stood firm with our retailers and said, listen, we have to push this through. And they actually stopped shipping product. And we lost probably over $1 million in shipped sales for sure, and probably more, in order to get this increase in. But it was a mandatory increase because we had a 25% or more tariff on some of our goods. So it was something that had to happen. And I think the message today is, if you're an entrepreneur and you're nervous about the price increase, don't be nervous. You know if you have to do it or not. If you don't have to do it, then obviously give your customers the best price you can. But if you have to pass a price increase in because it means your survival, don't wait. Don't continue shipping at a loss. Don't continue shipping at a break even. If that's going to kill your business, you're hurting yourself if you're thinking that things are going to change in the future. It's a tough decision, but it's one that you're going to have to make the right decision. And if that's a price increase, you're going to have to do it. And I know that's not going to be popular from the public's point of view, but remember what's happened the last 10 years. Okay, we've lost a lot of these small businesses that we cherish, a lot of these companies we love, and we're stuck going to the big conglomerates because they own the whole supply chain. They're better capitalized, they have more powerful sourcing, and they can run thinner margins because they have more leverage. So when you're small, you don't have leverage. You have to have margin from day one. As you grow, you can build that leverage and pass that on to your customers. As your brand grows, they've been with you this whole time, pass on better pricing to them. But that was a really interesting conversation. I mean, it just was sort of organic. We were just over there checking out I was just with a friend and we were just checking out the fitness event. And it was something that I had wanted to talk about on this channel. And so I'm glad that I could kind of bring that story into it. And sometimes when you do a price increase, I think there's a couple things to think about. Number one, if you can signal it to your customers, that's great. Obviously with tariffs coming and the increase we had to do a couple years ago, Everybody knew what was happening. And then the second part of that increase was when freight went crazy. Everybody saw that. So it was very visible. It wasn't something that was a surprise. All the buyers knew it was coming, and it was their job to push back, right? They wouldn't be doing their job by just accepting the price increase. So it wasn't anything upset about. The lost sales are never fun, but it wasn't anything to lose sleep over, in the sense that, look, they're doing their job, we're doing our job. That's part of business. But I think if you can message it, if you can show out, in the industry what's going on, whether by statistics or what's happening in the market, your buyers will understand why there's a price increase. And then maybe try to message some additional value you're giving to the customers, especially if you're a direct-to-consumer brand. So anyways, listen, I hope that was helpful. If it was, if you're a CEO and you're interested in learning more about CEO coaching or mentoring, check out Apex CEO. And if you guys got something out of this video, please like and subscribe. Take care. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. You can just enjoy the beach a little bit here. It's just a gorgeous day over here. Got the birds, some small waves, but an absolutely beautiful day down here. So take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate y'all.